Welcome to Math for No Reason. In this edition, we are going to prove this result, which says that a graph that contains a triangle cannot be bipartite. Recall that a graph G consists of two things: one, a set of vertices V and a set of edges. An edge is a doubleton, unordered doubleton of two vertices. So here we have a triangle which consists of the edges V1, V2, V2, V3 and V1, V3. So if we have to write formally, then we can write V is equal to V1, V2, V3 and E is equal to V1, V2, V2, V3 and V1, V3. Now, we introduce the notion of a bipartite graph. So, a bipartite graph is one whose vertex set can be decomposed into two disjoint sets V1 and V2, and we have the property that any edge is of the form V1 star comma V2 star, and V1 star belongs to V1 and V2 star belongs to the set V2. So if this is V1, this is V2, then the edges are of the kind where of like this. There is no connection between the vertices in V1 as well as in the vertices in V2. Now let G be a bipartite graph with V is equal to V1 union, and suppose it contains a triangle. So that means there are three vertices. Let us call them V1 tilde, V2 tilde, V3 tilde, such that there is an edge between V1 tilde and V2 tilde, and there is an edge between V2 tilde and V3 tilde, and there is an edge between V1 tilde and V3. So all these three belongs to the edge set. Now, by the very property that we are talking about, if V1 tilde belongs to V1, and since the graph is bipartite, we know that V2 tilde has to be in V2, and again, since V2 tilde, V3 tilde is an edge, V3 tilde has to be in V1. Now, since there is an edge between V1 tilde and V3 tilde that violates the condition for the bipartite graph. Similarly, if we start with V1 tilde in V2, we will get from this fact that V1 tilde, V2 tilde belongs to E, that V2 tilde has to be in V1, and then V3 tilde will have to be in V2. And again, since both V1 tilde and V3 tilde are in V2 and there is an edge between them, we arrive at a contradiction and the graph cannot be bipartite. Now, since every vertex is either in V1 or in V2, we see that we are arriving at a contradiction in either case, and therefore we can conclude that a graph which contains a triangle cannot be bipartite. Thank you.